Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. So today's a very special day. It has been exactly 5 years since I uploaded my first YouTube video to this channel. So my first YouTube video was uploaded on October 1st, 2014 to this channel. So I thought I would spend today going through some of my old videos and talking about the past 5 years of DDO, not just what I've uploaded to my channel, and I'm going to talk about some of my favorite videos and some of my overall thoughts about the channel and stuff, but also use this as a way to reminisce on the past 5 years of DDO and just talk about how the game's evolved. It's really cool having so many years now of content that I've made. I can go back and just look at how the game was 3-4 years ago based on what I was talking about 3 or 4 years ago. And it's really cool to see how the game's changed and how I've changed and how my content has evolved. So yeah, so we're going to go through, as you can see on the screen, we're going to go through my old videos. I'm just going to talk about them and then talk about old DDO as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So when I first made this channel, I don't know what caused me to start YouTube. I needed something creative to do with my time. And that's really the main reason I make these videos and continue to make these videos is I'm a creative person and I need a creative outlet. And it just so happens that DDO is one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite video game of all time. And it was just perfect for me to use that as a way to create content. And creating content is something that has surprisingly stuck with me when I first picked it up. And if you've ever watched my first video, which is Update 23 Thoughts, where I talk about like Mark of Death and stuff, I didn't really think at first I was going to do this for a long time. I thought I was just going to make a couple videos and quit, but it kind of turned into something that I really enjoyed. So that's why I've been doing it for 5 years. And I've had a few months here and there where I haven't uploaded, and I've gone on some long absent streaks, but for the most part, I've been uploading pretty consistently for 5 years. So I guess on my first video here, I started off by just making videos by just playing the game and talking over that, which is, it's not something that I don't think worked too well, and I kind of cringe a bit. I think as all YouTubers do when I look at my old videos. So a lot of these videos I'm just running stuff and just talking about it. So as you can see right here, I've organized my videos on the screen here from oldest to newest. So we're gonna just go through them here. I think the first video I made that people actually really liked was my cleric healing guide, which I haven't made another one since. It's still pretty up to date. Surprisingly, I mean, healing, especially as a cleric, has not changed too radically in how you do it. I mean, obviously the meta's changed drastically. I still think a lot of it is worth watching if you haven't watched it before. But yeah, the thing about this channel, I've kind of realized from making content, I've been able to figure out what content you guys like and what content you guys don't care about. And definitely when it comes to YouTube, not just me, but any DDO content creator, guides is something people love. So anytime you make a guide or like a new player guide or just a guide or a guide on a build, people love that. So this is like my first video where I saw like a significant number of people watch it. So it has like almost 6,000 views as of today. Let's see, let's continue. So another video that surprised me is how much people liked it was this 3 reincarnations in 1 hour video. In this video, I took a +20 heart and turned myself into a paladin for the paladin past life, and then I ETR'd to get the epic past life, and then I heroic reincarnated all in an hour. Actually, it was almost exactly an hour, so that was a pretty cool video. I'm surprised people like that so much, actually. Another video I found that people really liked, and I guess early on it was one of my favorite videos that I made, was this Warpriest tree, why battle clerics shouldn't use it video here on the left. And unfortunately, a lot of this is still relevant. The Warpriest tree is still terrible. As you guys know, I love to rant about that. I've made multiple rant videos on it. And I actually got a comment from Turbine at the time who actually thanked me for making that video because it brought up some good points. So that was pretty cool. One of the videos I think helped people out the most were these new player guide videos I made. I made 3 of them. So as you can see on the right here, I don't know if you've ever watched these. These are very, very new player focused, and I've actually considered remaking these because it's been 4 years now since I made these, and the game's changed quite a lot. There's a lot of stuff I could talk about now that wasn't in the game before. In particular, like this first part, I go through classes and things. So that's something that's, really really useful to a lot of people. And since we have more classes, it would make sense to do a new guide. So you might see a new guide in the future from me. For a long time, I just talked over gameplay, and then sometime about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I switched to talking on camera, which was kind of hard to do because, putting yourself in front of camera out there on the internet is kind of nerve-wracking at first, but I think I got over it eventually. I'm not actually a very extroverted person. I'm actually very introverted, so that was not easy for me. Okay, these chronoscope solos, I was actually really proud of this at the time because this was back when soloing epic chrono was pretty impressive, and I did it on melee cleric, so I was actually really proud of this chronoscope solo. Of course, nowadays with the power creep, it's not hard at all to solo epic elite chronoscope for most people, so not really a big thing today, but back then it was. Okay, so this is my most popular video of all time. This is my video for my build. Again, people love build videos, but this one is almost up to 24,000 views, which is quite a lot considering I don't think DDO has more than like at most 30 to 40,000 players. So that means like half of the, of course it's not, cumulative, but a good portion of the player base has watched that video, it seems. So that's really cool. And along with that, I know I've had a thread going on the cleric forums for a long time, which is my build again, and that's had, I think, hundreds of thousands of views. So that's really cool. Let's see. This is one of the many series I've kind of abandoned. I did for a long time. I made a lot of videos kind of on the enhancement trees. So I did one on the Radiant Servant. I did a lot on the racial trees. And the reason I don't really make those as much anymore is because, well, a lot of the ones I really care about haven't really changed much. And for the ones that have changed, like Warpriest, I've kind of done other videos on those, kind of critiquing them. But a lot of the reason is because I don't reincarnate that much anymore. In these early years of my channel, I was playing way more than I play today. I still love to play today, but honestly, just being older, having more responsibilities, it's just a lot harder to fit in the time. Like back 4 or 5 years ago, I was playing every single day, and nowadays I just can't do that. I get to play like twice a week, I would say, usually. So it just, sometimes I'll have a week where I can play more, but I'm just doing so much more these days. Not just this channel, but I have a lot of other hobbies, a lot of other commitments. It's really hard to play DDO as much as I did back then. I wish I could play more, but unfortunately I just can't play as much as I used to. Let's see, optimizing your DDO UI, that's another one that I'm surprised was so popular. So this is basically about how to organize your hotbars, how to best organize your spells and abilities on your hotbars, and just generally how to get to stuff fast on the keyboard. So this is kind of out of date at this point, but there's still a lot of, I think, good tips here. So let's see. What other ones do I want to kind of highlight here? Okay, here we go. So this video 4 years ago, does DDO need a server merge? So we've been talking about server merges for a long time, haven't we? And people continuously talk about it today. And it's one thing I think I probably will mention from time to time because I think they should do it. I know it's a nightmare for them logistically, but it's something that just shows you, we've needed for a while. I think even back then, 4 or 5 years ago, people were talking about it. So I really hope we get that at some point. That would be really cool. So let's continue. Okay, this video right here, this is the first time this snitch let's play. This is the first time I actually put myself on camera.
I know for me personally, when I watch
And
Let's Plays,
rip my
I
hair,
like
by
to
the
see
way.
webcam in there
Where did that
because
go?
I think it adds a little
But
extra
this was kind of
something to the
nerve-wracking
video
for me
when
because
you
it was
actually
the first
sit there
time that
playing the game
I ever
and
put myself on
compare
camera,
reactions to the game.
which
So
just talking is
I thought about
enough.
doing
But
this
like
for a
I kind
while,
of talked
but I
about
haven't
a
been
few
able
minutes
to
ago,
because
putting yourself on camera
my
is not
previous
easy
computers
on
did
the
not
internet. Like
handle
it opens you up to a lot of
video at
scrutiny.
the same time as
Thankfully,
the
you guys are
game,
awesome, and I
but I
don't
got
get
a new
hardly any
computer
negative
a few
comments
days
or
ago
anything.
that's
But
able
Yeah, it's one thing that's
not only
it's
run
kind of nerve-wracking to put yourself out there on the internet, because once you put yourself out there, that's up there forever. It's not. Yeah, I can bring the video down if I wanted, but someone could have copied it, whatever. You're pretty much out there forever if you put something online. Okay, let's continue. I did like these let's play videos. I don't know how much I'll continue to do in the future, to be honest, of these, because the views have always been really low. Like, honestly, the videos I uploaded this past week on the new Soul Splitter expansion, or not expansion, Soul Splitter Adventure Pack, where I played through it. Granted, I uploaded it kind of late, but the views have been like really, really, really bad. Like, none of you are watching it, which I don't blame you. If you don't want, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. I don't blame you at all. It's just I want to make stuff that people want to watch, and that's what I try to do. And the Let's Plays are something I've been doing kind of out of obligation. I mean, I probably should just stream from now on instead of doing the Let's Play videos, because at least with streaming I can actually engage with you guys and talk to you guys, and I was able to do that when I streamed Sharn. So maybe I'll just do that. I would like to do that, but I think this time in particular it was just easier for me to just do the Let's Play videos. But I don't know if I'll do those anymore, just because people don't watch them. That's my lowest viewed content on this channel is Let's Play videos for sure. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so this video is probably one of my favorites to go back to. Like, DDO needs a Mythic Difficulty, because this is one of the things that I kind of rallied for, and it ended up happening with Reaper mode. Granted, it didn't happen like exactly the way I wanted it to. I think, in my opinion, I think in a lot of people's opinion now, it's pretty fair to say they put too much power creep into the Reaper trees. I think that's pretty fair to say. But back then I was kind of rallying for a higher difficulty, and I kind of laid out my reason as to why, which basically came down to the fact that they couldn't make the game any harder by any other way. Like, they had to make another difficulty mode. And for people that really hate that they added Reaper, the thing is they really had no choice, in my opinion, because they tried to make the game harder through other means, such as introducing the really strong monster champions, and people hated that. Like, people rejected that. It was like, if you remember what happened when the monster champions first came into the game, it was a ungodly amount of negative feedback on the forums, so much that they reversed their decision in just a few days on the monster champions. So that showed them they couldn't really make current difficulties any harder without people getting super pissed off. So their only option was, which they had to make the game harder in some respect, or people were going to leave. Because if you remember, say like during the Mark of Death update, at that time, Epic Elite was the hardest difficulty, and people were complaining about how easy, like how there was nothing harder than Epic Elite, and Epic Elite was so easy for lots and lots of the really serious players. So they had to do something to keep those people from getting bored and leaving. So I think Reaper difficulty was the right decision. The way they did it, I think they put too much power creep into the Reaper trees, particularly the fact that you can get so many hit points in non-Reaper modes from getting Reaper XP. So I think they kind of messed up in that regard by weighing the wards too much in terms of power. But overall, I think Reaper was a good thing. Okay, so you've got more Let's Plays from me. It's funny, if you look at my Let's Plays through the years, you can watch my hairline just slowly evaporating, which is kind of funny and sad at the same time, isn't it? Okay, so I do a lot of reviews, and I've done a lot of reviews. So like Update 27 loot review. I've done a review on File Adjust. I try to do reviews on updates, and that's something I think people like, and usually those get a decent number of views. So it's something I'm probably going to continue doing. This one right here, this is probably the biggest surprise video that I ever made, was this why DDO is still a great game video, which is basically I talk for 12 minutes about why DDO is awesome. And it's just a very positive video that I made because I wanted to make a positive video at that time. And I think this is my second or third most viewed video. Like, a video like this just getting 21,000 views of just me talking over gameplay, to me is just like, that's crazy. Like, that's so humbling and awesome to see. Like, as a content creator, that's the kind of stuff that really motivates you and drives you to make more content. It's like I'm like super honored that so many people watched that video. That was awesome. Okay, so what else? more content playthroughs. My new Twitch stream. I at one time experimented with Twitch streaming. I made a Twitch stream and I did for a month or two. I streamed at the same time every week, and I still have my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Axel311 open. I still might, maybe next time if I stream in the future, maybe I'll stream there instead. But I had a plan to start streaming regularly, and I did for a few months, and I just found that I wasn't really getting anywhere with it. Like, people just weren't tuning in, so that's why I stopped doing it. Let's see. There's a lot of cool videos like legendary feats, just things where I talk about new changes in the game and react. It's kind of cool just to watch it, like listen to myself and what I thought of. Not that I listen to my own videos very much. I mean, I always watch my videos before I upload, but if I want to go back and just see like what I was thinking at this time, I can. So that's pretty cool. And you guys can as well if you care about that. Okay, these videos are pretty cool. So these retrospective videos, if you are interested in learning about the earlier parts of the, like older parts of the game and like what was going on in the early years of the game, in this series, I think I have 4 or 5 parts to it, retrospective. I go back at old updates and talk about old updates, and I talk about what was put in, what the effect was at the time, how the how the community reacted, you know, how I reacted, how it affected the game. So if you want to learn about like old updates and what the game was like in the olden days, I recommend you listen to this series. I think the whole thing total is something like, what, 40 to 50, maybe about an hour, I would say. Okay, so now we get to these DDO's collected storylines videos, and these were probably, well, these, except for my fan fiction stuff that I did, these were the most work, I would say, of any of the videos, and this is the videos I'm most proud of. So this is narrated to music, and I go through and talk about all the storylines of DDO, because if you don't know, the storylines of DDO are all interconnected in a lot of various ways. So there was a guy on the forums named what was his name? Bizbag or Anaz from Kyber, I think. One of those names he went by. He wrote a really cool script of summarizing all of the storylines throughout the game, and I talked to him. I talked to him through the forums. Got in contact with him, and he said, okay, I could use his script. So I used the script, and I added pictures, and I narrated it dramatically. Tried to dramatically narrate it. So I really like these videos. I'm really proud of them. There's 2 parts. If you want to learn about DDO's lore, these are really good videos to watch, in my opinion. And all the credit goes to Bizbag because he wrote the script. So, and I've tried to contact him in the last year or two several times, and I don't know if he doesn't play the game anymore, but he hasn't responded to anything, any of my attempts, because I really wanted to see if he would write a part 3. And I would love to do a part 3. So if any of you guys really know a lot about the storylines of DDO and want to write a script and want to work with me to make a video, just get in contact with me on Twitter or leave a message under this video, and I'll be happy to work with you if you want to do that. And I'd give you, of course, all the credit and all that stuff on the video. So what else? Okay, so here is, other than the lore videos, the videos I'm most proud of, and it's not a video series that was viewed very much, but I wrote a short story which you can still listen to, which I narrated. I narrated 2 parts called Beneath the Stone Face, and the second part's called To Find a Thief, and you can see right here. And it's just a narration of a short story for 2 parts. The whole thing's about a little over an hour, and it took me a long time to write these because I like writing, but it just takes me forever to do when I write. And then I also have a written version that you can find in the description to these videos if you want to read it instead of listen to me. But 2 things is I do enjoy creative writing when I have time to do it and when I can work up the will to do it. And I really, really like narration. I'm really interested in narration. Like I would love to do that. Not just narration and voice acting, if I could ever do voice acting for anyone. So those are 2 things I'm really, really interested in. And if anyone has a short story or fan fiction or anything they want to get out there, a little more, contact me and I'd be happy to, you know, to read your short story and make a video out of it, put it on the channel. So of course give you the credit and all that if you want to. And if I think your fan fiction isn't, completely awful, as long as it's decent, I don't think it would be a problem. Okay, what else? Smartphone apps. This was a fun video to make because I went into all the different Android smartphone apps and just reviewed them. Something I might do again in the future because I'm sure they've changed. I'm sure there's new ones and there's ones that have gone. So now we're starting to get to recent videos. Okay, so this Axel Investigates DDO lore video, this took forever to do, and it's only a 6-minute video, but I basically went through Sora Dusk and completely explained all the lore of it, and I made a video version of it to where I kind of show relevant video clips, like the video lines up with the lore of what you're hearing about and being described. And it's only 6 minutes, but this took a really long time to shoot and to write, even though it's 6 minutes. And what I found is it wasn't really worth the work because not very many people really cared to watch it. So I don't know if I'll do that again in the future. Maybe, but I'd probably be much more willing to do it if someone else wrote the script. If someone else wrote the script, I would cut down the work by a lot for me. Maybe. Okay. Choosing your DDO class. I'm surprised this one's so popular. Like 18,000 views is kind of nuts.
That's vulnerable to fire, things like that. There's a lot of
but I think one of the reasons it's so popular is I think the thumbnail is pretty good. I enjoyed doing that thumbnail. I think that's one thing I learned about YouTube is thumbnails are actually pretty important for people watching your videos. Okay, what else? So a lot of reviews, lots more Let's Plays, lots more of my hairline dissolving. This is pretty cool, this video. I still have this. This is where I did a review of the physical edition of DDO. Definitely worth it if you want to make like if you really like DDO and you want to make like a picture, something to put on your wall and make a shadow box out of it or something. It would be pretty cool because these things are super cheap. You can probably get a physical copy of DDO online on eBay for $5 to $10 minimum. So this video I always thought was kind of funny because this one is about the epic defensive fighting buff. It's called DDO's massive buff for melees. And this video is funny because I spent literally like almost an hour just talking about epic defensive fighting. And I just thought it was funny that I could just talk about epic defensive fighting for almost an hour. So if you want to hear me talk about epic defensive fighting for an hour, watch that video. This video to the left, this was kind of cool. This is the video where I interviewed Severlin and Cordovan, Severlin's the executive producer of the game and still is, and Cordovan's he's the community manager. So I went to Gen Con 2018. I drove over to Indianapolis. That was kind of cool because I went to they had a fan party at a bar, and I got to meet a lot of people, and I got to talk to a bunch of devs and interview them. So that was really cool. Okay, so this year I finally got around to updating my build on the forums, which was terribly outdated. And I felt kind of bad because I had that old video that had gotten so many views, and I wanted people to get pointed in a more lore or meta appropriate version of it. So I'm glad I got around to making that. This population video, I might actually do another one at some point because we've gotten more data. I know the DDO Oracle has started updating with population data again, which I've been informed of that on Twitter by the guy who runs it. So maybe I'll take another look at estimating the DDO's population because people seem to like that video. What else? Okay, this video is kind of funny, and I didn't know how people would respond. I mean, the views of it were okay, but this was my attempt at doing a comedy video. I basically just made up and said all this ridiculous, crazy stuff for an April Fool's joke, and this was released on April Fool's, where I just said all these ridiculous statements about the game. And comedy is hard to do, But I thought it was funny. I hope you guys thought it was funny. I wouldn't have put it out there if I thought it was completely terrible. And then I called the video interview with developer April and Fools, which I hope people would not be confused by that. But surprisingly, I got a bunch of comments of people who didn't get the joke. I mean, April and Fools. I produced it on April Fools. So, let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Now we're just getting up to like current date. My reviews of Sharn, my streams of Sharn. This video in the middle here, I tried to basically play with the video. I made this video as an excuse to play with video effects. So I brought up a scroll, a vendor trash scroll of burning hands is what I called it. And then I made it so that my hand caught on fire. I want to learn how to do more in terms of editing software, stuff like this. And this was like one of the things I learned how to do, along with the text shaking and stuff. So I don't know. I'd like to do more of that in the future. It's just I can't ever figure out like how to utilize those effects and stuff well in my videos, because a lot of my bread and butter videos are just like me talking about the game. So yeah. What else? So I made a bazillion videos recently on the hardcore server and changes in the recent updates. So in New Alchemist, a lot of recent stuff. So we're pretty much up to date now. Yeah. So guys, that's my entire catalog of videos up to the videos I made this week. So yeah. So I guess the last thing I want to say is just thank you guys very much, for all the subs, all the likes. I mean, I just passed 2,500 subs on my channel recently, which is awesome. It's really humbling that 2,500 people liked my content enough to hit the subscribe button. So thank you guys who've been watching who've been watching all this time. It means a lot to me. It's a fun hobby. I have no current plans to stop doing it. I guess the last thing is I want to say is I thought since it was a special video, I would wear my Vela shirt. If you've noticed, I've got Vela on my shirt. This is the shirt I got at the devs handed it out at Gen Con 2018. So yeah, so that's going to conclude this kind of celebration of the past 5 years of DDO and the past 5 years of me making content. So guys, if you want, I'm going to ask something very narcissistic. If you would, comment below and let me know what your favorite video is that I've ever made. Which one you found the most helpful, which one you've just enjoyed the most. I'd be very curious to see that. And also, if you want, you can also let me know what you want to see in the future. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time. Have a good one and take care.